to the courts now. The Senzo Meyiwa murder trial today was dominated by an audio recording of Bongani Ntanzi's alleged confession about his involvement in the murder of former Bafana Bafana captain Senzo Meyiwa. Now, Vivian Cronje, the magistrate tasked with taking Ntanzi's confession down in 2020, had her version tested by the defence, or she is soon going to. Accused numbers 1 and 2, of course, made those confessions about the 2014 killing of the football star in 2020. But now they're saying they were forced to make those admissions. Well, Cronje told the court Ntanzi confessed in the presence of his lawyer and not under duress. Our reporter Manqoba Mchunu following the story, joining me in studio. So now we're in a situation we were meant to hear the magistrate who took down that confession or witnessed the confession being cross-examined, but there's a recording that she made of Ntanzi explaining his confession. The state originally wasn't going to use that audio recording in this case, in the court. Now they're saying they want to. The defence not happy about that. So tell me why the state has made this decision at such a late stage.
Well, Sally, it's certainly a curveball as far as this trial within a trial is concerned, because yesterday the state had clearly indicated that they do not plan to actually use this particular recording. It only came to light in court yesterday when the state had indicated that there appeared to have been a recording that was made by the magistrate on that particular day. She had made it for her own personal use, the court was told. And so the state had initially said that they're not going to use this particular recording. But after listening to the recording, recall, Sally, that yesterday the court adjourned early. And this is because of the fact that the defense had wanted to then listen to this particular recording. The state also had an opportunity to listen to this recording. We understand it's about 3 hours long. And after they had then listened, the state saying that there was information that was included in that recording, which was not necessarily on the pro forma form, which is the form or a checklist form that is filled in just before somebody gives that particular confession. This is to check whether or not they agree to the confession, whether they understand their rights and whether they were assaulted. So that particular form, some of the elements were not in the form, but on that particular recording. And the state then feels that it is important that this particular recording then be brought in court and be admitted as evidence to further strengthen its case in this trial within a trial. So it was an about U-turn that was made by the defense this morning. And of course, the defense not happy with it. They had in fact indicated that they had not even listened to that particular recording because the state had said that they're not going to use it. So they then asked for postponement, in fact an adjournment, which lasted about 4 hours, and this was to allow them to be able to listen to this recording with their clients because they feel that they'll be prejudiced and that they've been ambushed by the state. But take a listen to what the state had to say in its own mitigation for this particular recording being admitted as evidence.
The state initially indicated that it will not use the recording, my lord. Yes. But yesterday we all had the opportunity to listen to the recording. And my lord, having listened to the recording of the deposition of the confession, and after having compared it to Exhibit JJ, the pro forma, they are naturally, Exhibit JJ would never contain a verbatim recording of what was said. And after having compared the recording to Exhibit JJ, the pro forma, there are certain aspects that are not contained in Exhibit JJ which appear in the recording, which in our submission are important to determine whether the statement in question was made voluntarily.
All right, so let's listen to what the defense had to say in response to that.
If that is the submission that the state will stand by it, I would actually submit and request the Honourable Court to suspend the submission made at the moment for the defense to continue the cross-examination and make proper preparation in response towards the submission made by the state, my lord.
My lord, I also object to the application brought by the state at this hour. Since, my lord, yesterday it was clearly indicated that the state was no longer intending to lead this information. And hence, as a result of that, my lord, I listened to the recording alone without my client. My client has never listened to this video recording. I have not been given instructions regarding that because I was under the impression that the state was not going to use that information. As a result, my lord, I will ask again, as I've asked yesterday, that will be given an opportunity, because if the state is allowed to proceed at this moment, my lord, that will amount to an ambush on the part of accused number 5.
Interesting how the lawyer for accused number 5, even though accused number 5, there's no confession floating around in regards to that person. That happened before the defense then went with their clients to listen to this audio recording. Am I correct?
That's correct, sir.
When they came back into court, had their demeanor changed? What happened after that?
Well, when they returned, Selin, this was 4 hours. In fact, we were meant to return at 2 o'clock this afternoon, but we went up until 3 o'clock, where the defense was still listening to this particular recording. And immediately when they came back to court, they then indicated to court that they had wanted to then make an application, not an application rather, but to argue. We understand that the state will be making an application as far as having this recording admitted as evidence. So the defense indicated that they, number one, are questioning the authenticity of that particular recording, and number two, the admissibility of it in this trial within a trial. So they are going to be challenging that particular recording, and the arguments are expected to be heard tomorrow when this case resumes at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And of course, what they are saying is that this recording, they are questioning the lawfulness of how it was obtained. Were the people that were there aware that this recording was being made? And perhaps on those grounds, they will likely then argue that it not be admitted as evidence in court. But of course, it's all part of this bigger trial within a trial that is looking at whether the confessions themselves will be admissible as evidence in court, which means that basically, can they be used by the state as evidence in court?
I mean, it's a crucial moment in this case. We've only heard arguments around the first confession. We haven't even heard the second. They were hoping to wrap this up this week, this trial within a trial. Do you expect it to go on a lot longer than that?
Certainly, Sally, by the look of things, I mean, there are many technicalities, and I guess, I mean, the defense also have their right as far as, you know, asking for more time because they feel that some of the evidence that is being presented to them is done so at a late stage by ambush, they claim. So they're within their rights, Sally, and they're allowed by the law to actually ask for more time to consult. So I think it's still going to be a long, drawn-out affair as far as this is concerned. The state is not even done with its list of witnesses, but also the defense will also be presenting its arguments when it comes to this and possibly calling its own witnesses. We're hoping that maybe we could see the accused also being called to take the stand and to testify exactly about how those confessions were taken. What is important is whether they were done, this was done lawfully, whether they were taken within the bounds of the law. Was there any intimidation? Was there any assault or any pressure for them to make those statements? And I guess they will be the one who are better placed to give evidence and testimony as far as that is concerned.
All right. Well, thank you so much for bringing us up to date on the trial within a trial at the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. That, of course, is our reporter Manqoba Mchunu, and there will be more tomorrow on what is happening in that regard. But let's move